How's everyone? How's everyone doing today? I hope you're good. Hope you're well. Hope you're improving. This video is one that I've been wanting to do for a few days now. Because I describe this as the Chad versus Eugene dynamic. Now, this is very stereotypical. We've taken the names, Chad and Eugene, just to use for the purpose of me trying to explain this concept. But it is, stereotypical names. So try not to feel offended if your name is Chad or Eugene. I'm not saying this is you, but what I'm using this as, it's a classic movie names, the Chad and then you got the Eugene. So we're gonna get straight into this and explain what the concept is. So Chad versus Eugene. Typically you got the Chad, that sporty person, you could be described as like the alpha person or the dominant person, and his physical traits are kind of are a property of that Chad persona, that Chad stereotype, right? So Chad is usually athletically built. He's usually, top of the team and has the respect of the people around him because he's that, kind of dominant figure. Then you've got the Eugene. The Eugene, their physical traits are nothing impressive, but their mental traits and the fact that they can, nerd out over stuff and get these concepts and build these things are the properties that create a Eugene. So why am I explaining this? What I believe is that it's in your best interest, if you want to be a well-rounded person, to be a Chad combined with a Eugene, but you have to take the best components of each of the character types. So let's start with the Chad, right? Chad is pretty self-explanatory. It is someone who works on their physical, traits, and aspires to become physically the best person they can, and has, a good overall level of athleticism. So that, will then allow you to, build your body up and allow you to get through physical, feats that you may have to deal with in life. And then you have the Eugene. Now the Eugene is the intellectual side, right? Because no one wants to just be a meathead. You get what I'm saying? So you want to build your mental to kind of understand certain concepts in whatever field that may be. It could be a scientific field, a mathematic field, you know what I'm saying? Anything along those lines. You want to have the best of both worlds, because that's going to make you elite. That's going to make you someone who can give the athletic people a run for their money, but then also hang with the nerds and talk about concepts and give them a run for their money. And when you do that, that puts you ahead of society, a lot of the time. And when I say the Chad versus Eugene dynamic, you don't want to be average in both. You want to excel at both. You want to have a level of excellence within your mental and your athletic performance. And we can, maybe in another video, we can dive into certain milestones that you might want to hit. But essentially a level of excellence is you take the average intelligence of I wouldn't say a Eugene, but someone who's, studying academically, and you take that up to Eugene level. Do you get what I'm saying? So you take your academic studies, and that doesn't have to be professionally. Like when I say professional academics, it doesn't have to be within like a uni or something like that. But you want to take that up to the Eugene level, and then you want to also take your physical performance up to the Eugene level. Not the Eugene, sorry, the Chad level. And that's very possible. Why is that very possible? Because we all know that you can't train 24 hours a day. So when you're not training, you got to be studying. And I think most people don't have that balance down, they either excel at one or the other. So this is why I feel like it's very important to build your physical and mental simultaneously. And it's easy to do that because you can't study all day, otherwise you're just going to overload your brain, and you can't train all day. And what's interesting about these characters that you see, the Eugene is very smart, but sometimes he loses focus and he puts that smartness into some other stuff like video games and like them card games or them board games. You know how you see sometimes them playing the Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. Like nothing wrong with that, but they will apply a level of, technical thinking and technical analysis to games. they will put their brain power into games. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what they do in their free time. So if they weren't doing that and they were sticking to, their studies, understanding concepts, and then in their free time just hit the gym a little bit, that's going to put Eugene ahead of loads of different Eugenes. If a Eugene tries to bother another Eugene who hits the gym, they're going to have some problems. And the same way as the Chad in the movies, right? When you see Chad in the movies, what does he usually do? He usually, he trains hard, then goes out, parties, you see him drinking, the chug, doing all that stuff all the time. And it's like, okay, if he didn't do that and he focused on his studies, he would excel. So I think one of the key takeaways you can take from this is use your time wisely. If you're not in the gym, do some study. Once you've hit those, two kind of, what could we call them, like, I guess, tasks of the day or goals in the day. So do like a couple hours of studying, hit the gym. Then you can maybe think about your free time and what you're doing in your free time. And even then, I would say your free time should be something creative that's going to help to excel. Something that you find fun, but also creative, and you can either use it for one of your other hustles or even monetize that creativity. But that's again another video for another day. But yeah, the point is that I wanna get out here is that I feel like if you watch this channel, you should aim for a level of excellence. There's a saying that you can't be a jack of all trades and stuff like that, which to some extent is true, but again, you've got to optimize your time. If you're a Chad and you love training, as much as you love training, you can't train all day. Part of training is rest and recovery, and what you do in that rest and recovery is going to help to see where you excel in other areas. And I believe, again, that if you watch this channel, you should aspire for a level of excellence in each field that you operate within. And that means a level of excellence is over average. So you don't just want to be, an average academic or an average athlete. You want to excel to be advanced, to be beyond that. And how do you do that? With athleticism is pretty easy. You can go online and find strength standards or endurance standards and stuff like that. You can see where the average is, and you can set milestones to be over average, and then change your training routine to take you beyond over average, to take you to the level of where the Chad might be. And then for the Eugene, it's a bit more difficult because you could look at it as grades that you get in certain subjects, but if you don't want to go down the academic path, which I don't believe is the only way for you to learn certain STEM subjects, then you at least need to be able to grasp certain technical concepts, understand them, and work on projects in your own time that helps you build upon your understanding of them. So that is the Chad versus Eugene dynamic. Let me know what you think about it, and let me know also what you do to balance, your Chad Eugene energy. And I'm interested to know like how you structure your routines, how you structure like your study plan or your goals to build that balance. But yeah, essentially it's like I'm saying, if you have two people, we can look at this two ways. If you have two people of equal like athletic ability, the smarter one's gonna win, right? Same way if you have two people with the same intellectual ability, then the one who's most fit has to win, or the one who's most conditioned has to win. Like if you take, for example, two fighters with the same skill level and thought patterns and fight, what do they call it, like fight intellect or something like that, then the one who's more conditioned is going to win, right? So I think it's just balancing the two, using your time wisely, and becoming the best part of both the Chad and Eugene. So we're going to end it there. Again, like I said, let me know your thoughts, and yeah, have a good day.